Look, I don't know day. All right, we got 7 in. Give me just a second as I set things up. Again, I'm doing this on phone, and it's not working with me as a person. So give me 1 minute. Okay. All right. Skedu kaunode. Kaibido. That means let us begin. So, all right, we got 4 in here and 4 likes. Thank you guys very much for your patience. I had to figure something out before I was able to get back in, and luckily we did that, so we're here. I'm in my new apartment. I'm still setting things up. Looks like a train wreck right now. I'm actually in what will become my studio. Check out the torn couch. I did that while moving. What will become my studio for the medicine shell, but it's got my kids stuff in here right now because I'm assembling one of my kids' beds before I assemble the other. But yeah, so welcome everybody, welcome. We got 6 people in here. When we get to 15, since I made you guys wait, when we get to 15, I'll go ahead and get started on the topic of polygamy. Now, this particular one is not going to be super meta and dense. I kind of want to just hear you guys' questions and answer questions and debates and all that stuff. I'll give a little bit of insight as far as how our ancestors saw polygamy and little things about marriage here and there. But this is an open discussion. I'm very, very, very open to questions. Okay, Chimoge has already began. Okay, yo, y'all. Everybody's already gotten started. All right, so let's get to 15 and we'll get the discussion started. You guys can comment your little hearts away. That's fine. And greetings, everyone. Tanya, Ndewo, Ndewo. Habitual, Ndewo. This is interesting because I saw a post on Facebook, intrigued me, and now you're doing a live. Yeah, well, I'm doing the live because the topic, the Igbo internet has been on fire on the topic of polygamy. And once we get to 15 people in here, I'll go ahead and kickstart and tell you why it's been on fire and so forth. We were at 12, now we're at 11. I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I reversed the numbers 11 and 12. So I always have to think before I say them. So we're at 11 now. Then next is 12, 12. And then one person didn't hit like. So we're at 12, 11. We need to be at 12, 12. So whoever has not hit like, hit like. Where are you at? We're waiting for you. I need Chingy. I need Chingy. There's one person in here who has not hit like. If you have not hit like, go ahead, hit like. There you go. There you go. All right. You just freed the rest of us. We thank you for that. It helps the channel a lot, believe it or not. So go ahead and hit like if you're in here. Igbos are still polygamous. We're just doing it badly. All right. Looks like y'all just go ahead and gotten started. Like I said, this is going to be an open discussion. I don't have too much meta stuff to share as far as polygamy goes. I'll eventually do a video on it, but I don't want to share it right now as far as the live. I just want to talk about it, and it's been a big topic for probably, honestly, from my observation, the past 6 years. And then got particularly hot this week, and I'll kind of share why. We are at 12:13. We are at 12:13. So if we can get 3 more people in here, we'll go ahead and get started on the discussion why our ancestors were polygamous and discussing polygamy in general, maybe debating polygamy. I'm very open to all viewpoints as far as that goes. And like I said, this is just a laid back hangout. We are at 12. So if you guys got relatives, brothers, sisters, wives, sister wives you want to invite that you want to invite, go ahead and send them the link. We just need 3 more people and we're going to get this thing started. 3 more people, we're going to get it started. So we're at 12:13, 12:13. Somebody tapped out. I hope they'll be back soon. 11:13. Okay, people are tired of me talking. 12. Okay, welcome back. Well, I'm glad you changed your mind. He said, not sister wives. Oh, shit. It's interesting because all right, cool. Let me see what you guys' comments are saying so far. As a man who's gonna have multiple wives, I'm very interested in this topic. I can't wait to see how much ancestral perspective lines up with my own. Yeah, I'm not gonna go super deep in this one today. I just want to hear what you guys think and maybe share my own thoughts and so forth. The topic's just kind of funny, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll see. But there are some things here and there that I think I can share, which maybe might not be commonly known. So yeah, 13, 14. Sorry, that was probably me who didn't click like. Jax, man, why are you doing this to us? All right, cool. Appreciate you for fessing up to your crimes. 13, 15. So we got the potential to hit fit. Once we hit 15 people, I'm breaking my invisible OG and then we're beginning. So let's get two more people in here. Two more people in here. If you guys can share this link on Twitter, share it on. I didn't get a chance to post it on Patreon, so I apologize to the patrons. But share it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you guys are at. We are currently discussing polygamy 14. We need one more person. We need one more. We need one more. This channel deserves more attention. Thank you, Jax. I appreciate that. Yeah, just share it with people. I've come to realize that people will come when they come, and I'm cool, very cool with the pace that new people are coming. I get the sense that YouTube's not recommending me too much, because like my other two brothers have channels, and we notice that a lot of my viewers have already seen my videos before, which is uncommon. It's uncommon. It's typically the majority will be new people and then whatever. So, trying to think of how to be recommended more and so forth. I think my niche, what I talk about, is very, very, very specific. So that could be what it is. Sister Wives. Finally caught a live chat. 10. Well, welcome. Welcome. I hope I'm saying your name right, 10. One thing I like to know is why polyandry is full on polyamorous marriage, man, Chimoge, you're killing me with these terms, bro. Were less common than polygamy. I give you a couple of reasons. Virtually existed. Well, he was historically. Cool. All right, 14. We need one more person in here. If we can get one more person in here, one more, and don't nobody try to sign on from your other Google account and rig the vote. Just we need one more person and we're going. One. Utsu. But they're coming, they're coming, they're coming. Anyways, everybody who's here, welcome, welcome, welcome. The village raised the kids. What is polyandry? This is new to me. I want to say and you see, you guys this is kind of out of my element because like these are one of those like clubhouse topics that so polyandry, I believe, is when one woman marries multiple men. 15, we have hit 15. Hey, say, all right. Yes, marrying multiple men. Okay, cool, I was right. Okay, let's begin. So, just to catch everybody up, I have been for the past 3 months, I have been doing a bunch of extracurricular things to assure that my family can move to the new state that we're going to be living in. Right now, I'm here and I'm going to be flying the family over in about a week. Unfortunately, I forgot my laptop with them, which is where I do a lot of my stuff. So if my response times are slow, if things are out of whack, I guess, like not irregular, that's kind of why. And I think you guys deserve an apology for that because you guys have been very patient and so forth. So, but around the 15th, things should get normal again. And then I'll be releasing videos more regularly because all of this craziness and chaos will be ending roughly the week of the 14th, so 15th. So that being said, let us go ahead and begin. I don't have my UFO where I keep my RG, and based on the state that I'm in, I probably will not see RG for the next 1 year. So you guys are gonna have to just, I'll recommend this to my Discord friends. Awesome, I appreciate that. Okike Kerua, Ajikwe Aka Nekelengi, Alawala, Ala nne mmadụ na nne mmụọ, ala mụrụ anyị niile, ajikwa aka anyị, aka ọcha na-ekelekwe unu, kelekwe nye. Nnọọ ka m nụfụrụ m, nnọọ ka m dị. Aka m dị ọcha, obi m dị ọcha, uche m dị ọcha, mana anyị na-aga na ije Chineke kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa. Achọrọ m iji oge eke na-ekelekwe ndị mmụọ na-esoro anyị n'ụwa, ma ọwụ ndị eke, ndị orie, ndị afọ na ndị nkwọ, ndị mbụ na ndị egede, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ. Ka anyị werekwe oge kelekwe ndị iche anyị niile, ma ndị iche ndị na-ele na ọwa YouTube ke, makwa ndị iche m. Nna Ejike, ana m ekele gị. Nna Emenaha, ana m ekele gị. Nna Ukwuebu, ana m ekele gị. Nna Ọfọdụnwa, ana m ekele gị. Nna Akaweze, ana m ekele gị. Na-ekelekwa unu niile na-eke n'orie n'afọ na nkwọ ise. All right, cool. Let us begin. So, my routine's usually the same. I'll do a little kick flip here and there and add something new. But in essence, I greeted everything that's relevant. So I greeted the creator, I greeted the earth. I greeted what I referred to as ndị mmụọ na-esoro anyị, so the spirits that are following us, that are around us, and so forth. I gave a greeting to the ancestors of everybody who's watching, my own ancestors, and then I listed them by name, as always. So that being said, that's typically how I begin everything. One of the topics that we've been discussing a lot in Kedu, and Kedu is the Igbo language school that I started. And they're having a class right now, so which is not fair to them that I always go live when they're in the middle of their Friday class. But they're having class right now, and we were discussing the topic of, or their teacher was discussing with them the topic of greeting. Greeting is a very sacred thing in Igbo culture. You don't say hello and keep walking. You don't do that to people, right? So when you're greeting, you're stopping everything, you're directing your attention and your intentions and everything towards that one person, and you're greeting them, you're taking their time with them. So that's why it's important when we greet our ancestors, we take our time with each name. That's why it's important to learn each of their names. Of course, no individual will ever know the names of all their ancestors. It is a lifelong journey. It is a very rewarding one to learn as many as you can and constantly pursue the ability to learn more, or the access to more names and so forth. So that being said, let us begin on the topic. So everybody has been talking about polygamy lately because, like, a Nollywood actor who's an Igbo guy got married to a second wife. And I don't know the full story, so if somebody wants to fill me in, that's fine. I tried to talk to as a part of my research, I try to talk to people about it, and people seem to have different versions of the story. I think the big controversy was that his first wife didn't know. The other controversy comes from the fact that polygamy is very, very uncommon with Igbo people. As far as 2 generations ago, nearly inexistent, right? Which is kind of strange because it has died down in Nigeria, but no other group has completely just quit the practice the way Igbo people have or did after the colonial period. And I mean, anybody can form theories as to why they dropped it so hard, but like, it's just very, very uncommon. So if it was like a Yoruba actor that got like another wife, nobody would flinch, right? Nobody'd say anything because they still practice it here and there. It's not super common, but if you hear that a Yoruba person has 2 wives, it's not unusual. Hausa, that's like standard. These are the major tribes in Nigeria, by the way. Hausa, that's like standard, you know. He's not even married till his second wife arrives, you know. So if you hear that an Hausa guy has 2 wives, you won't flinch. But the fact that you heard it from an Igbo person is probably where all this controversy is coming from. And since we're in the age of men and women being frustrated with each other, this debate came, right? This debate came with it. Is polygamy right? Is polygamy wrong? Is this the answer to a lot of the relationship problems we're facing right now? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Okay, if we can be polygamous, what about polyandry? Polyandry, is that right? That type of thing. So what I wanted to do was hopefully contribute to the conversation by sharing a little bit of what I know as far as the ancestral perspective goes on polygamy, and then kind of just opening the floor and seeing what kind of madness you guys have to Christianity happened. That's what happened. Well, they're all Christian, right? It's not like Igbo people aren't more Christian than other groups in Nigeria. So it might be Christianity, but I don't think that's the full story. Yeah, they dropped that thing fast, or like totally, like the whole generation just said nope, and it was over. But yeah, there are other Christian groups in Nigeria. It's not like Benin people. They're Christian, and my good friend Ahis um, was sharing with me that his father was a polygamist, and so forth, and that it's fairly common with his people that like it's not like every person you'll meet has two wives, but it's not weird or not unusual to meet somebody. Whereas to meet an Igbo person that would be from his father's generation that has two wives is very uncommon. It would be very uncommon, it'd be very strange. So polygamy, as far as the ancestral perspective goes, so there's this debate within circles that discuss these things. I don't know what the title is for these circles, anyways. There's this debate as to what if polygamy was original in the culture or if it was a response to the slave trade, right? Now, I am more than willing to say that it was probably original to the culture. One of the reasons that, or one of the things that negates that particular viewpoint is that when you look at a lot of art depicting couples ancestrally, a lot of it is one woman and one man. If you look at a lot of folklore and things like that, there's a lot of it is one woman, one man. It's a consistent thing. And then you have the generation of, I want to say, my great grandfather's generation, and then probably a couple of people after him as well, where it seemed to be very common. All right, it seemed to be very common. So one of the reasons I said I'm not going to give like this concrete super meta lecture today is because it's still something that I myself am trying to figure out. I don't think it was a response to the slave trade, right? I don't think the proliferation of polygamy was, but there was something that was making it common that suddenly, for lack of better terms, went away, right? That caused this entire group to just stop all of a sudden. And then now within our generation, we're now debating whether we should go back to polygamy and that type of thing. Now, my own personal viewpoints, I don't have an opinion on it. If somebody wants to be polygamous, that's fine. I think that it's a great arrangement for people who think that's the best way for them to live. I wouldn't do that crazy ass shit. I wouldn't do that crazy ass shit. And I've learned, or I've not learned, I've come to see that 9 out of 10 times people talking about they're gonna be polygamous are usually unmarried men, right? Once you get married, once you get married, the idea of having two women up in the house bringing you that stress on double time is completely asinine. Having two mother-in-laws, gotta have two. Oh man, wow. And like I was talking to my friend on your movie about this too. Is like, women are so focused on all this like minutia, and they're like do or die about it, right? Like my wife can, this picture should go here on the wall. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Then all of a sudden we're in a very serious argument. Whereas me, I was like, casual opinion, she was dead serious. So, okay, fine, you can have that. That's what most relationships, for those who aren't married, that's what most male female, and I know you guys have all this like Kevin Samuel shit floating around, right? But most relationships are women wanting things and men saying, sure, why not? That's what they all are, right? All this, oh, she's got to cook and ooh. No, the shit just falls in place. You can make up all the rules you want. Everybody's going to do their thing. She's going to want this. You're not going to care that much about it, and it's going to happen. That's just what it is, right? So I couldn't imagine another woman being there, and then just, it would be like living in like, it'd be like living in a clubhouse room like for the rest of your life. So no, I personally don't want to be a polygamist. For those who can make it work, fine. Now, one of the ways, there were methods by which our ancestors used to make it work when they were in those arrangements. So for example, in the Igbo tradition, if you have more than one wife, each wife has her own house, right? You're not sharing a single house. What a man will have, I wish I had something to draw with. is a compound, or we'll call it compound in English, right? Or ama, land, right? A man will have his land. And the land is usually going to be in some type of square formation, right? Typically, from what I've seen, a square formation. And within that square, there are walls, that are a bit, he walls off his land, typically, not always. And then within the walls, there's different houses for different family members. Or if it's not a wall, the house itself will be shaped like an open, almost like a horseshoe, right? And then different rooms or houses will belong to different women, right? So this woman over here is going to have her house for her children. She's going to have her, and then the man will have his that is very separate. And that is one of the things that even today, Igbo culture, you'll notice that like the father tip lives kind of separate from the wives and children, not completely, but there's a culturally expected separation, where, for example, when food is being served, the father's food is served separate and the father will eat in a separate place. If the man takes a title such as nze or ozo, he will have his obi will become a sacred space, right? And only his wife can enter that space unless he invites his wife and other titled men, unless he invites his children to come and eat with them, right? So a lot of us that grew up in the culture have memories of, we eat our food, then we run over and start eating our dads and that kind of thing. We eat the meat and the pot and all that stuff before he can get to it and all that stuff. A lot of people have different memories of that, right? But I don't know, some of you guys grew up extra Christian, so I'm sure that's somehow the devil, right? So, but yeah, so the father is typically separate, and then the wives will all have their own houses, which would, I guess, alleviate my concern of the insane idea of having two women that feel equally entitled to you in the same house and thinking that you're going to enjoy your life whatsoever, right? Um, yeah, and so the different houses for different families. Now, one thing if you trace all of our histories, most of us are one or two generations away from some type of polygamous arrangement. And without fail, very consistently, one of the things that makes me say, okay, that's not for me, is that I always see that once the father passes away or once the uniting figure passes away, the family just disperses or scatters. And it is even at home when you bring up polygamy, people will tell you that polygamous families are very unhappy. There's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of rivalry within it, and so forth. One of the stories is that of maybe she'll kill me for sharing this, who knows? My wife's, not her, yeah, both her grandfather and great grandfather. Her grandfather was, on her father's side, was a very powerful Dibia, right? And his name was Okorojo, which is uh roughly translated to like scary man or ugly man, right? They called him Bobo. And it was said that people, because he was so feared, people would basically give them their daughters as wives. Like, I want you to, Ngozi, you go marry him, that kind of thing, right? And so he ended up having like many wives. He has a lot of wives. And what ended up happening was he favored one wife over the rest of them, right? Which is what always happens. It's just what always happens. Or based on all of the stories I've heard from polygamous arrangements, he favors one over the other. And then when he passes away, it becomes this like ever lingering resentment between the different sides of the family. And for the most part, the rest of them have kind of scattered into space and they don't know each other anymore or can't find each other and that kind of thing. And that's not how I want my generation to continue then on. So I want to read some of the comments. See what y'all Chica says polyandry. Ew. That sounds crazy to me. I did see a video. There's some is and why who has multiple husbands, and I think BBC or one of them people made a video about her. So if anybody wants to message me to remind me, I'll try to post that on Patreon or something like that, if you guys care. Polyandry, multiple husbands. I'm trying to get caught up on you guys' comments. Not to be a nail in the foot, but what about a man marrying multiple women? What's that called? Yeah, a man marrying multiple women is a polygamist. Or I hope that's what you said. Man marrying multiple women. Yeah. Okay, cool. Polygamy wasn't just for the average man. Modern men forget that you had to take care of all the wives and provide for them. Yes. That's in theory. Golden said something that's very smart. So this is in theory. In reality, right? It's not like when you go marry, they're like, okay, well, you're at a upper middle class income level, and that's not how it works. So, like in theory, yes, you're supposed to take care of all the wives, but that's just not what. If it doesn't happen, if the man doesn't do that, then you're causing failure for three, four families instead of one. And so, oftentimes, you'll find that that ends up being a big issue as well. Um, Over poverty and inheritance. Yes. Do you have theories about it? Snapple and Cats, you asked me, do you have theories about it? Can you remind me what you were asking if I have theories about? My Igbo teacher from college actually told me that it's not so uncommon among us. I think Igbos are just good at lying about our sexual behavior. Well, you can't, Chimoge, you can't be married secretly to a woman in our culture, right? So you can have like illegitimate children, like people. I mean, I don't know if you can, but people have illegitimate children. That's a bad term. People have children out of wedlock, right, or outside of marriage. People have secret families, things like that, but that's not marriage. You have to actually go to the people's their family and do the dowry and do the ceremonies and do it the correct way, or else the land is not with you in your arrangements. Um, in your entanglement. Yeah? Christianity happened. That's why polygyny died down in Nigeria. Yes and no. I wonder if Igbos were like Victorian moralism during the colonial period. Yeah, I think so, but I don't think they were more affected. The comment was, I wonder if Igbo people were affected by Victorian moralism during that period. Yes, they were, but I don't believe they were more affected than the average Nigerian or even African, right? For some reason, like there are certain things that just like, for example, most of the mega churches in Nigeria are run by Yoruba people, right? So it's not like they're less Christian, right? In fact, they're at the forefront of it. Decline that. They're at the forefront of it as far as Nigeria goes, but they're still polygamists, right? So you wonder. Polygamy isn't rare in Igbo land. Chidinma, I would like you to share your stories because I don't know too many. Uh, and by the way, polygamy as in formal marriage, not going and having kids and that type of thing, and like secretly trying to marry another wife on people, that happens. The Bible is full of contradictions and hypocrisy. The Bible says everything at once, and then you move through the world with your intention, and then you turn back to the Bible and justify your intention retroactively. So the Bible says every single thing at once. If it's kill people and don't kill people, it's all in there, right? So when I go to kill people, which I won't, I'll go back there and say, see right there, it says go kill people, yada, yada, yada. That's what a lot of religious books do. If you want to write a good religious book, for those of you who are trying to do that kind of thing, just say everything. You know? Free labor. Hold on. Also, shadow side, land was a sign of wealth. The shadow side being it was cheaper to marry multiple wives and have lots of children. Uh, Shadow side of things is cheaper to marry multiple wives and have lots of children. Oh, okay. So in Igbo culture, you don't get land. I think there's maybe I'm misinterpreting what you said. There's a lot of cultures where you marry a woman and then you get things because of it. Like you get land or you get money or like the husband gets the dowry, which is crazy. I think okay, not to insult anybody's culture, but I think that's wild, right? In our culture, that doesn't happen. So like if you marry a woman, you don't get anything. Like you give her something, you know, or you give her family something. So it would actually be very expensive, if you want to put it in those terms, to marry multiple wives. That kind of thing. Free labor, yes, I suppose that is free labor. The answer is to be more unselfish and patient in the most part. Absolutely. I think there has to be a mutual understanding between all parties in a polygamous arrangement that a higher level of non-selfishness would have to be executed or will have to be practiced in order for this to work. Which is hard to say for a guy with two wives to tell everybody quit being selfish. With my sitting down with my seven wives and telling them, hey, you guys gotta just not don't be too greedy, you know. But yes, in order for it to work, people would have to operate in a different mode than what we do in our contemporary relationships. Derek said one wife. Yeah, one wife is more than enough, right? And once you guys get married, some of you who are not married, you'll be like, yeah, half a wife will do. Like, yeah, I'm telling you right now, you got to figure out why social media stresses you guys out so much. Polygamy does not stress men more. That's why most societies say only the best men get multiple wives. Western women are too crazy for polygyny. What are you guys' thoughts on polygyny, right? A woman marrying multiple men, right? I guess the argument is if men can marry multiple women, which I don't have a problem with, why can't women marry multiple men? I'm with you. I'm mixed on myself, be a polygamist. I think that another thing too, that if you guys already have, so there was something that was interesting that I was taught about Yoruba culture, ancient Yoruba culture. So if somebody's Yoruba and I'm wrong, correct me, was that oftentimes if you got a woman pregnant, that was your wife. So the arrangement starts once the pregnancy starts. Everything else before then is just you guys flirting around, right? And so it was kind of a way to assure that every woman that's getting married is going to have kids and that kind of thing, and that to keep marriage on focused on the main thing, which is children and procreation and so forth. And so I don't even know where I got into that tirade. That's interesting. Western women are too crazy for polygyny. I'm a Western woman and I don't see much of that. Polygamy comes with a lot of responsibilities for the man. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm realizing I'm supposed to be polygamous. It's pushing me to be my best self. That's awesome. That's good. That's good. And I shared horror stories for polygamous families. There's a lot of very successful polygamous families too, at home, right? Or there's a lot of families that are polygamous and things worked out more than fine, right? I think maybe the Okoroja bad man. Yeah, exactly. He said, ew, yeah. Asian wine would have multiple husbands. I've come to realize or more sexual than average women. Man, Chiboge, man, you be killing me. We have to change narrative. Husbands should love each wife equally. Yes, Chidima, I agree with you. If you're going to be in a polygamous arrangement, it would be very tragic for you to choose one wife and then the rest of them are not equal to that particular wife. At the same time, with most cultures and most polygamous arrangements, the first wife usually has seniority and authority over the other wives. And in my own thinking, I can see why that's necessary, right? Because what's going to happen is you bring in different women into an arrangement, and then the question is, okay, who's who in this situation? So to solve that potentially explosive situation, it's better to already have an organized hierarchy where the first wife is the one that's the boss, and then from there you guys listen to her as she is your elder or superior and so forth. I think it's why Igbo especially dropped polygamy, but you did a little. Yeah. I don't. It's hard to explain why they did that. You can't have a secret. I know you can't okay. I know you can have a secret marriage. I'm saying that I think people lie about how many polygamous marriages they've seen. I have. Okay, genuinely, I have seen none, right? And I'm still fairly close with my family at home. Of course, I live there. I've seen zero, right? Nobody in my area, to my knowledge, but there are people, right? I got a cousin that gets married every week. I got a cousin that gets married to a new woman every week, right? He's my boy, but he knows what he's doing. And so, but like he divorces the other one and then marries a new one, divorces another one and marries a new one. And then like they're all still kind of in the same orbit where it's like we got kids, so we can't go away. So I don't count that as polygamy. Polygamy has to be I'm getting married and my first wife is at the wedding to my second wife and we're making it happen. Polyentanglement, yeah. Emmy. Polyentanglement is the term I think a lot of you guys are saying. Yorubas are actually less Christian than Igbo. A large percent of them are still Muslim. Still Muslim is a hell of a term. Yes, but a large percentage, by percentages, there's a percentage that's Muslim. I think it's half and half, half Muslim, half Christian. But they're all polygamist, you know? So that just never went away. I think I read one of the pushes for monogamous marriages due to men who could not gain marriages, due to women flocking to men who had means to take care of multiple women. Ah, I've heard this too. There was this, I don't know if you guys ever seen Grapevine on YouTube. I actually think she passed away. Her name was Aisha. She had made this point. She always made good points on that show, and she had made the point that the monogamous marriage is to the benefit of a man, because it's almost like sexual socialism, where everybody gets according to their need, right? Whereas prior, if you've ever gone to like any black college party, right? Most women are going to choose, like, if there's 100 men, most of the women are going to choose about two of them, and they don't care about who else is also choosing this person. I don't know if one of the spirits just entered the room or what. But yeah, why get married, especially in the West? Um, it's a stable foundation for kids, right? For having kids. But if you don't want kids, I don't see the point. I think I read that one of the push. Okay, I already read that one. Yes, formal. Okay, Chidamabiko, go out and tell us some stories now. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. You know, women marrying more. Okay, wait. What's the point of polygyny? Okay, all right. Yeah, what is the point of polygyny, by the way? Can someone explain what the point? Because I see that ending 10 times more disastrously than polygamy, right? Like, you have a kid, like, how do you know whose kid that is? You know? With polygamy, it's like, okay, I know, theoretically I know she could have maybe snuck off somebody else, but polygyny, it's just, what are you doing, Polygamy, multiple marriages, relationships, polyamory, okay? Multiple men with one woman. Actually, polygyny, multiple wives to one husband. Onyewuchi, I think there's a Delta woman. I heard that they still do it in Delta. There's a Delta woman who married four husbands. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Um, the Chidamai, yes, that's the woman I was talking about earlier. I said that there was a woman. I believe she's an Asian Y, or I'm pretty sure, I'm 90% sure she's an Asian Y. She married multiple husbands, and that's the only example of polyandry that I had seen back home. And somehow they're making it work, so it's cool. But she's most definitely the head of that situation. So, already some girls multi-date, as in have more than one boyfriend. So it would be hard to have more. It wouldn't be hard to have more than one husband. Sure. Well, I guess my question is, again, how do you know which kid is yours? Like, she says, I'm pregnant. Everybody's looking at each other like, okay, right? Yes, Aisha K. Fines. Yes, RIP. I heard she had passed away. Said that. I think the point is partially, but not completely true, okay? Because the main reason polygamy becomes common in societies is because there's less men than women. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. I can see that too. And I can see that because I think that was one of the things that people brought up when they made the argument that it was a response to the slave trade, though I think it was common well before it. The only artifact, and again, I'm just using artifacts I've seen online, I've seen that depicts polygamy was one of Njokuji. Njokuji is the Arushi of agriculture, most specifically G, which is, well, we translate G as the yam, but it's actually a class of food. So it's like the yam and the cocoa yam. Yam being the G for men, cocoa yam being G for women. And Njokuji is the spirit that is the Ogun force for agriculture, right? So everything comes in the form of Ofo and Ogun, Ofo being feminine, Ogu being masculine, the Ofo being the thing by which you make the pact with, right? So the earth, I put the seed in the earth, that type of thing. And then the Ogun being the consequence, karma type of thing that balances it out. For example, the example I always use is the apartment. Like you move into an apartment, you sign the lease, right? No matter what happens to you, so long as you go by the laws of that lease, you're going to be able to stay in that apartment. So if somebody runs in and throws you out of the apartment, you have the right to walk back in if you appeal to justice, right? That is ogun. At the same time, when I violate my lease, anybody, the person I violated can, which is the complex, can appeal to justice and have me thrown out, which is again ogun. So Njokuji represents that for agriculture. For that reason, to our ancestors, a barn is a sacred space. A barn is the same thing as a shrine, right? Your farmland is the same thing as a shrine. So these things are treated sacredly. I came to find we had a really good group discussion on this a few months ago in the Patreon. If you're not on the Patreon, by the way, get on there, patreon.com/the medicine shell. But we were talking about sacred workspaces and how our ancestors saw whatever their workspace was as sacred, right? And how to apply that in our own lives and things like that. It was a really good discussion. Let's see where we're at. In the past, agricultural-based economy required lots of human capital, yes. So for men who had lots of land, the kids they had were free labor to an extent. They don't have to pay outsiders for work. Yes, that is a very true point. Yes, having more kids. And then there's another thing with our ancestors is that when you say the word wealth, right? Uba, when you say the word wealth, you're not just saying money. That also includes children, right? So your wealth also includes children. It includes land, it includes children, it includes family ties, family size, family success, that kind of thing. So it's this very all-encompassing term. It's not just monetary wealth. If you have a lot of monetary wealth and no children, you're considered poor, right? Because when you die, that thing's going to go with you. So who cares? Right? What is it? There's also the idea of ipa, right? So ipa, the actual word ipa goes to a like a piece of land that's been prepared for farming, right? So if I form an ipa by burning the land or getting it ready for it to be cultivated, right? And it is said that when an individual is reincarnates, right? They reincarnate by invite of their family. How does a family invite someone to reincarnate? They give them two funerals, right? Well, who deserves or who gets the two funerals? Most people, right? But somebody who has done three ipa, and I had made an infographic that illustrated them. So there's ipa madon, which is having children, right? Having children, maybe having many children, and then also cultivating other people, like leading other people to growth, helping other people grow, that type of thing, being a good member of a community, uniting people, which is marriage, right? They see that as marriage. So marriage, having children, those were two of the things that they see as, okay, you lived a good life. So with that in mind, it would make sense as to why somebody would want to have more children. Now, I don't agree with the labor aspect that if I have more children, I have more labor, right? Because there is an ilu that says many hands at work is a wonderful thing, but many mouths to feed is embarrassing, right? And it sounds more symmetrical in Igbo, but many mouths to feed is embarrassing. That's what it says, right? And the reason I say that is I think that it goes into, there's a thing that historians do where they try to explain human history from the perspective of logic, right? And if you really think about what they're saying, it's ridiculous. But because we're used to hearing history told that way, we accept it, right? So for example, if I'm having a kid, I'm not thinking about labor. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe because I'm a modern person and back in the day it wasn't like that. No, right? Most, like I said, there's a spiritual, religious, whatever you want to call it, reason that's one of the reasons people wanted to have children. There's also the fact that I want to have children. It's also the fact that I like children. There's also the fact that I want to continue my name. There's a whole bunch of things. So there's always this thing that like, oh, ancient societies, they had a lot of children so that they'd have free labor. I don't think that's necessarily true. While farming is difficult, there's large tracts of the year where you don't have to do anything in farming. So you don't need an intense amount of human labor. It's just seen as a good thing to have children in our culture, and I think that's pretty universal throughout Africa. It is seen as it's like let's like a seed, right? You plant a seed in the ground. The seed grows a stem. The stem grows leaves. The leaves continue. Maybe they grow their own stems, and then they grow, and then all of a sudden it starts flowering, and then that thing produces seeds in itself. And that's how you look at a plant. Say, oh, that plant is a healthy plant. It did what it was supposed to do as a plant, right? It achieved awele. For those of you who are in our previous Patreon group chat, that plant achieved awele, right? Okay, it did the thing that plants do, right? But if the plant grows, and then no seeds come out of it, you're gonna be like, okay, something wrong with that plant. By the way, some people, I mean, I don't know if like it's gonna offend anybody, but I would just unsubscribe if it does. But yeah, a plant doesn't produce seeds. You're gonna be like, okay, something's wrong with that plant, right? So keeping that in mind, I'm inclined to think that that is the logic behind wanting more multiple children or seeing children the light you do, and then plus you're a mammal. It's just what it is, what we do as mammals, right? And so forth, and more so than the labor argument. Like, oh, they wanted more labor. They wanted labor because like they, like I guess slavery or not slavery, but farming is in labor intensive, but it's only labor intensive for certain periods of time, that kind of thing. I agree about the free labor thing. It's ridiculous to think that non-psychopath would conceive their children just to make them work. Exactly. Oh man, I got 3 laborers. And it's like, imagine having a laborer that you have to wait 7 years before they're like of any use, right? And try getting a job and the person has to like wait 7 years for you to actually do any work. That doesn't make any sense. In the West, there's a movement discouraging making children. Yes, white people have decided making children is a ridiculous thing. Your black asses need to let them have their movement, right? For once, just let them have their movement. Let them have their movement and continue with your own, right? You guys always like to just hop on whatever's going on, right? So, yes, there's a lot of don't have kid talk in white culture, Western white culture right now. And some of you Africans want to hop aboard. Guys always like, listen, I grew up with white people. I know what it is, man. I know what they do. I know who they are, right? White people find something, they get really fixated on it to the point where they can kill you, and then 4 years later, they drop it, right? So I grew up with a bunch of people who were punk rock, and then they became emo, and then they became hipsters, then they became communists, and now they're just kind of like just dads, right? And every single one of those phases, they could have killed you about that thing they were talking about, right? So you got to keep hopping on these things, and you don't know that the train is going to stop. You just stay on it. You go, anyways, that's a whole different discussion, but let them have their movement, yeah, I want to see more African children out here. I like that. He said, you have many kids. Cool. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with having kids. Cool. Kids are cool. But it's not for everybody as well, right? And if you force it when it's not for you, you're only harming yourself and most specifically the child that you subconsciously don't want. So if you don't want kids, just accept that. I think various human motivations, positive, negatives, can be true at the same time. Yes, there's a lot of negative ones too. There's a lot of belief in overbelief in one's importance. I think that's important in having kids. But those things were put in us for a reason. The problem is that they mean to push it on us. They say we shouldn't have kids because we're more poor. They're eugenicists. Yeah. I never got into the whole overpopulation thing too, right? I always thought that was because not every, but there's a good portion of European countries that are currently incentivizing people to have children. It's a good portion of them, right? And all of them believe there's overpopulation. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, if you look at consumption levels, right? If we're talking about overpopulation, that's who needs to go. But I'm not going to do that. Are you talking about Africans? Okay, never mind. That's not me. Wait 7 years for them to start work. Yeah, okay. I only hear feminists in the West not wanting kids with men. They're all on YouTube. Yeah, a lot of people just don't want kids. If you don't want kids, don't have them, right? If you don't want kids, don't have them, because you're just gonna put your kid through Whatever is making you not want the kids. But I'm not with, there's a lot of like not anti, but like, it's almost seen as like an ignorant thing to do. Or like I've even heard people, in the white culture refer to it as selfish. In 4 years, a lot of you guys are gonna just hop on their bandwagon and start saying the same nonsense too, because whatever. And then I'll wait another 4 years for that one to end, and then we'll talk about something else after that. Uh, it's become a hot girl. What? What do our ancestors think about the concept of thruple? One man, two women, all three in a relationship with each other. Asking for a friend. It's You're gonna have a very hard time finding information on sexual specifics, right? Like, because it's a private thing. So it's not like you're just gonna have a hard time. Maybe I promise some did that. I bet others didn't, but you're gonna have a hard time finding specifics on that. I've heard that in modern day, outside of a system of simultaneous polygyny and polyandry. Others, okay, so polygyny. Can somebody tell me what the difference is between polygamy and polygyny? Because I'm trying to figure that out. I thought I knew, but I don't. Other words and women with both partners. Maybe. Um, the Chimoge, the Awasa tradition, does it involve marriage or partners? There's a big difference. Um, in some parts of Igbo land, they had this system called the Iko, where like people's wives had boyfriends, right? In other places, that's like a heavy abomination. You can't, if you cheat on your husband, specifically your husband, if you cheat on your husband, it's like this major abomination, right? But in other places, it was seen very casually. So I would be curious to know if that system, that Alsa system, involves actual marriage, or is it just partners? Was your sexual behavior really divorced from marriage in Igbo land? Like, if you couldn't lead to children, did it matter that much? Was your sexual behavior divorced from marriage? That's a hard question to answer, Snapple. Maybe if you can elaborate a little bit more. And if somebody has an answer, because one's not coming to me, that'd be great. But I'm not really understanding the question. Was your sexual behavior divorced from marriage in Igbo land? If it couldn't lead to children. Again, as far as sexual behavior, against it's impossible. Unless like I want to sit down with somebody's great grandfather and talk about how he was, it's you're not gonna find information on that. Were our ancestors pro LGBTQ? I think the term LGBTQ is a very American cultural designation, and it exists for a very American history specific reason. So whether they were pro or against, you'd have to break it into little parts, and then you'd also have to know, because that's where how non-Americans classify it. Well, everybody does the American thing now because America owns everybody's brain, but like non-Americans traditionally don't classify them together. So there were situations where we would now, as with our American lens, say this is lesbianism, right? Like a woman with a wife, right? But it has absolutely nothing to do with a man who wants to have sex with men. There's no connection whatsoever. Like, they're not related to each other. Now, whether somebody was pro or against, I can't give a blanket opinion, like they liked it, they didn't like it. What I can say is, based off of culture, spirituality, and everything like that, the capacity to produce kids was very important, right? The capacity to produce kids was very important. A lot of the lesbian arrangements, what we would call lesbian, a lot of the lesbian arrangements, women being married, was related to having children. A lot of them weren't, right? People always try to act like, oh, they only did that so that they can that the other woman can get pregnant for the husband, or yeah, no. Some of them just like, it's just what it was. She had a wife. It's just what it was, right? But I don't have any examples of men being married to men, right? And I don't see where that was fit into the culture at all. Now, did they sneak off and have sex, or they just have sex and not just what it was? Oh yeah, probably. It's 10 million people, roughly. I think five-ish, two-ish million people when the British arrived. Somebody's having sex with men, right? And anybody who doesn't think so is just being childish. But I can't give a blanket opinion. It's like saying, are Americans pro LGBT? About, I don't know, maybe 62% of them. I don't know. You know, I'm offended because I don't want kids, but only because I'm not a child woman. Okay. Overpopulation is a eugenicist myth. Yes. They're usually saying, yeah, overpopulation means there's going to be more of them than us. Very soon, we got to do something about it. That's what that means, right? It's going to be more of them than us. We got to do something about it. That's all that means. It's about the amount of children. Yes. Polyandry seldom works. Women are never satisfied. Damn! Has anybody seen polyandry in IRL? I don't know. I don't know. Can you spell what it's called? Can you spell what it's called when wives have boyfriends? IKO was the term. Iko. Iko is like a cup, right? And there's somehow a relationship between the cup um and dating, like not like romantic love, right? So you've seen the Igbo wedding where the woman kneels down and gives her husband the cup. There's a cultural connection between the cup. There's also the name Ikonne, which is like is a name given to sons that were very mothered, that they're very close to their mother, or their mother was very close to them, and it means basically means his mother's boyfriend, right? That's kind of a way to translate it. So the term is Iko, Iko. There's a document I have on it. If you're a patron, message me on Patreon. There's a document I have on it, on that exact tradition. So go ahead and message me on that, because I know that there's people that'll fight me about that too. So, and it wasn't universal. Like in my village, if you did that, it's considered an abomination. But in some places, like specific places, the document I have is speaking about a specific place in Ngwa, which is the Aba region, a place called Aba. If you're not from the place, that some places in Aba they had this tradition, this eco tradition, where a woman can be married, but she can go have boyfriends and things like that. So. Yes. Lalita, I hope I answered your question. I don't know whether the ALSA system is partners or spouses. Yeah. So yeah, partners, people do whatever. So like I never want to reach a point where I'm trying to quantify the sexuality of our ancestors, because it almost like creates this image where they're just these like NPCs that like all had one thought on something. People, whatever we're doing right now sexually, humans have always done since the beginning of time. Nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing has changed, right? It's been done, right? I've seen, let me just leave that on, but it's always been done, right? So to say, what did they think about this? What did they think about that? I can give you how it was quantified in the culture, but I can't give you what was thought, what the thought was about it, because the thoughts will differ. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and then you also have to remember, like I said earlier, ancient people, non-American people, people in other cultures don't contextualize sexuality in the same lenses as Americans do, right? America owns everyone's brain right now, so we're going to follow their model. But America is a very new country trying to figure things out, right? So what America typically does is it grabs onto an idea, just like I was telling you about before, and then it runs with it, and oh, that's a bad idea, and it hops off, right? But it never announces, hey, everybody stop. You understand? So everybody else just goes along with that ride and heads off a cliff and that kind of thing. So a lot of experimenting going on. It's a new culture, right? And so right now we're trying to contextualize a healthier way to understand and coexist as far as sexuality goes. And it's going to take time for us to figure it all out. But what the formula we're figuring out is not universal, right? So like something like the term LGBTQ, like all those things were not grouped together in other cultures, and really don't have much to do with each other, right? If you want to go to the history of why that's all grouped together, you won't like it, right? And it's very Christian, right? All that stuff was called degeneracy before, right? It was called degeneracy. That's Christian degeneracy. So it's like, no, we're not degeneracy. We're this coalition of people you call degenerate, right? But not every culture called them degenerate as a collective. Some of those things, yeah, I don't like those things, but that's cool, that kind of thing. But we didn't, it wasn't grouped together. So I hope I'm making sense to people. I know that these are one of the topics that people like to like get reactive about because it's exciting, but that's just what that is. So here are we at? Where's the chat? I hope I'm not missing anything. All right, where are we at? Okay. If I were to take a bet on the LGBTQ question, I would say no. In Egypt, anyways, there was no go for more than one reason. Major reason was children being born. Yeah. You did answer. Thank you. Okay, awesome. LGBTQ plus people can have children, though. Yes, they can. But again, it's the grouping. Like, what does a trans person really have to do with a lesbian? There's nothing, nothing at all. Nothing. There's no connection, right? But we group it together because culturally in America, there was a movement that said we're going to attack. Every now and then, there's like a rash of attacks on these people. And it was previously called we're going against degeneracy. Anytime there was an inflammation of Christian fundamentalism in the culture, we go after these people. So these people were backed into a corner together, and they said, we're coming out of this corner together because we're in this corner together, right? That kind of thing. So if you don't have that very specific history, grouping it together doesn't make sense. So when you say, what do they think about bang, 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 there were arrangements that we can call lesbian that were very celebrated in our culture, very celebrated, right? Yeah, that it's just what it was. And then had nothing to do with the arrangements that we would call maybe gender fluid. No relationship whatsoever. But it's just in the American Protestant Christian fundamentalist culture, they were pushed into a corner together. They came out of the corner together. So they're a group together, right? So you have to break those things up. Okay, what do you think about this? What is the cultural context on this? What is the cultural context on that, and that, right? That kind of thing. I more, as far as having children goes, right? If you fall in love with somebody and you can't have children with that person and you don't stop loving that person because that's not how that works, right? That's just what it was. And so there's more than enough, or I mean, that's more than enough for me to believe that our ancestors did not just get married to have children. The have children pressure comes from the outside, your parents, your community, all those things. So again, it's hard to give these like, it was good, it was bad, they were for it, they were against it kind of thing answers. Cool. I don't know if this is on topic, Derek, but what are your thoughts on Kevin Samuels? I was just watching Chimoge's video on Kevin Samuels. Go check out Chimoge's comments, his channel, Chimoge's comments. You'll see him comment every now and then. He has some pretty interesting takes on things in the world, and I always like hearing what he has to say about things. What are my thoughts on Kevin Samuels? I don't really like what he's doing, but I don't like what he's doing in the sense that, he's now incentivized to demean people, right? So there's this like uh 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 degradation industrial complex that he rides on, right? So you insult, he blew up because he was insult like really tearing somebody down. So now everybody who's feeding to that thing, he has to, in order to keep them around, he has to keep tearing people down. And I think that I don't watch his show and stuff like that, but I've seen clips and things like that. And I think that, you know, you're now stuck in a situation where you can't even be civil anymore. You have to tear people down to keep the entertainment going. That being said, I mean, yeah, a lot of the stuff he's saying, it'd be hard to disagree with. Like people having very internet based perceptions of male female relations, that kind of thing. But I think that as a generation, I don't know why, because I don't you don't hear like, and I say as a generation because I don't really hear older people having these like having such a hard time figuring this out, right? But like you meet someone, you like them, just all them little weird precepts you have. Oh, Do they fit this mold? That's not how it works. Now you guys have all met somebody and like them, things like that. It's not how it worked, right? It's not how it works. So a lot of people are like more stuck on the preconceptions and the ideas of what I want than they are the human connection, right? And then that is leading a lot of people down a cliff. And so he's addressing that, but he's now stuck having to address it in a very sassy in a very he has to keep being entertaining in a way that is not conducive to the conversation, right? So his message is not that bad, right? He's a lot of what he's saying is kind of common sense, right? Is just common sense. And most of the time I find that like women past a certain age tend to agree with him, and then women below a certain age really tend to disagree with him more. And I think over time you just kind of realize, oh, okay, he's not really, that is actually how it is, that kind of thing. So I kind of hope I answer that question, degradation industrial complex. Autistic people are much more likely to be trans, and I always wonder if those things had anything to do with spiritual gifts. That's interesting. Good. People easily get in their feelings because certain views may not, yes, be approved of. Black people have always been black folk, yes. Many of our views came to America from Africa, yes. They're different between Europe, yes, absolutely. Is marriage a cohabitation agreement? Or are there other institutions that facilitate cohabitation agreements? So that's a really good question. Is marriage a cohabitation agreement? Yes. Are there other arrangements that would facilitate cohabitation, like between two men or something like that? Yeah, absolutely. Or like maybe between two women, or between a man and a woman, but they're not married. Between a man and a woman and they're not married would be more difficult than any other arrangement in any African culture I can imagine, right? In any African culture I can imagine. My mom used to tell me that when they were younger, like to have a friend that was a boy was like all of the women in your family start looking at you like there's something wrong with you. So if you had friends that were boys, you'd have to like sneak and hang out with them past a certain age, because they were of the opinion that that's just not, that they know what that is. You don't know, young lady, but I know what that is. And so she was telling me she was friends with funny enough, my dad's younger brothers, two of my dad's younger brothers, but they'd always have to like sneak to go hang out, that kind of things. They were little. One of the things she told me they used to do was they'd go to the river when people would leave offerings, and because like when you leave offerings to water, you include sweets, right? You include things that are sweet like soda, candy, things like that. So they would go to the river and they'd see if anybody left an offering and they'd go eat it. Oh shit. Yeah. So they'd go eat people's offerings. That's one of the things they used to do together. But they had to sneak and go do that. Not necessarily because they're eating the offerings, even though that is egregious, but primarily because it was a girl and two boys, that kind of thing. So I agree completely with your thoughts on Kevin Samuels. Thank you. Okay, yeah, Lolita. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to, if you actually listen to Kevin Samuels, it's hard to find anything to disagree with. I think that he has to put on this show now because that people are coming for blood, right? And so he has to like shed blood, that kind of thing. And I think honestly, I mean, for the people defending the women he like degrades or like insults, they're cool with it. They know who they're calling. They know what it is, right? They know what time it is. It's like people are going Judge Judy, and she's telling them, zzz, 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 like they know, that's what Judge Judy does. I'm gonna go here, and she's gonna talk to me like I'm just a damn fool, and then maybe I'll win the case, right? So it's the same thing. He knows that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I think it's kind of excessive sometimes. But the guests themselves, I doubt they mind it. I mean, culture is that Africans don't talk about it. Exactly. Ross, thank you, right? This whole thing of like, I'm gonna get demonetized, but this whole thing about like, hi, my name's Derek. This is how I fuck. That's it's bizarre. Like, let's step out of our era and look at it's strange. It's strange. I shouldn't know that. right? So the reason I keep telling you that I can't give you this blanket feeling, unless it's like some type of institutionalized public thing, which the only within the LGBTQ spectrum, the only thing that I saw that I've seen that has like institutional recognition in that sense is like what we would call lesbianism, right? But this idea that how people have sex is like free floating information is a very brand new thing that probably started with like Gen X Americans, boomers maybe, right? And then it spread everywhere because again we own the brain, that kind of thing. So this is all private stuff, right? And like as much as people are asking, you don't want to know. You don't want to know because maybe you're not thinking about what you're asking me, right? Oh, did my great grandmother eat coochie? That's what you're asking me. I mean, I know we have all these terms that make it look like it's not a bunch of verbs, but it is, right? And so you don't want to know. Trust me. I don't know. Maybe I hope I'm making sense. Yeah. Another cog in the mess machine. Yes, yes. Social media rewards mess. That's what I mean about the degradation industrial complex, right? That kind of thing. So yeah, you guys don't want to know. Like, if people always ask me those questions, like, oh, like, what they think? Were they gay? Like, I don't ask them. I'm sitting down with this like 80-year-old man who's seen the entire world. I'm like, how are you fucking? So, niggas, people gay, but upon all the things on earth I could ask him, man. Come on, you guys don't want to know. Like, we think it's interesting, but it's really you think about it's not interesting. It's not interesting. It's not an opinion thing. It's not interesting. It's you have to contextualize it in the American way for it to then now be an interesting thing to talk about, right? And there's a reason for that. It's a very cultural specific reason for that. Gen X and younger are more antisocial than our predecessors due to how we were raised, maybe. That we have a harder time dating. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if we have a harder time dating or we have a harder time shutting up, right? Because I don't know if we have a harder time dating or we have a harder time shutting up. Because if you talk to those like old men in like bars and stuff, oh, then my wife, here she goes. They do that all the time. It's normal. But we're the ones like crying and making identities out of it. Oh, now I'm MGTOW. I'm a MGTOW. I'm an incel. Hey, this is our flag. Yeah, we're against people who, that's just us. It's our contribution to the world to just keep yakking and talking and acting like things that are not interesting are interesting. Like, oh, 90-year-old man. Oh, hey, did guys giving each other head when you were young? Was that a thing? Or is that like new? Like, why would I have like not that interesting, man. I'm crying to like right, it's not interesting. It's not. I mean, I almost think like we've been conditioned to think these things are interesting. They're not interesting, and I'll debate that with anybody. Right? It's not interesting, right? That kind of thing, because we think that we just discovered all this stuff too. We think that this is like the first generation where there's like our first time in history where like I don't know, men were sleeping with men and like, oh man, we're doing this thing. And oh, wow, can you believe the Greeks were doing it too? Can you believe the Romans? Oh, the Chinese? Like, well, guess what? We're all mammals and humans and the people were doing what they thought felt good. It's not that deep. Oh, people use spoons or forks. Yeah, I just like, okay, I think within a few years it's going to get boring because we've really hit the gas on the topic and then everybody's going to move on. But that kind of thing. I think people are going to just move on from because we've really hit the gas on the topic, but like it's not interesting, Like you go to Egypt, you see the pyramids, you see the Sphinx. Oh man, that thing looks like a light bulb. Did they have light bulbs back then? Man, I wonder if they were, really, if they're, how are they? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, upon all the things, The sex topics are interesting to me, though. It literally came. Chimogezo manje sex topic. It's not going to get boring with all these anti-trans laws, unfortunately. Yeah. This is I wish it would get boring. They're not really ready for these combos. I'm probably saying something crazy. Like this is probably like whoever's sitting at Google is like, man, we got to shut down this guy's channel. This is probably the one where like, okay, got him, click, so like whatever, it's been good knowing you guys. But yeah, a lot of these topics, like, okay, fine. Like, what do you guys want to know? Yeah, your grandfather was gay. Like, who cares? you know? Like these Africans actually talk about sex more. Yes, absolutely, 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 absolutely. More openly before one Ugazi began. Well, I don't know about the different Uga. Maybe Chimoge. There's some truth to what you're saying though, Derek. You're killing me. Okay, yeah, this is probably the last time I'm going live, so like it's been good knowing y'all. Join the Patreon. I don't think they. Yeah. It's a weird country. America's a bizarre ass country. It's a very weird place, and sometimes it's, I think I was lucky to be born between two cultures because I can see both from the inside and the outside. So there's a lot of things that like, I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's had the thoughts that I'm having, but like you go to a place where like people introduce themselves and and you go to another place where like, my name's Derek, this is how I fuck, like you're like, whoa, that's weird. But if everybody else is doing that, then you grew up in that culture, you don't think, okay, why did you just tell me that, right? So some of those things are funny to me, it's not a hate thing or anything like that either. It's just like, that's not primary information, bro. Like, what am I gonna do with that information, that kind of thing. I do think fellow Westerners are too obsessed with sex. Yeah, I think it comes from like the whole puritanical history, and then it becomes this like spicy taboo, and then after being a spicy taboo, like we lose the puritanical thing, but we still have this big complex and culture and economy built around still treating it like a taboo when it's not, that kind of thing. Not interesting at all. Thank you very much, Chiduma. People are always asking me. And it's fine if you guys ask me the questions. Like I'm very open. Like any question anybody asks me, I'm 100% open to answering, and it's very rewarding for me to get a chance to answer your questions. So I thank anybody who sends me questions and keep them coming and that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't like. It's not as interesting as you guys think it is. I'm telling you. My jam dead ass. I realized this, but I looked at my natal chart recently. 5 placements said okay, Chimogen. I don't know what you're saying. You lost me, bro. I did. I looked at a few star charts. I didn't see that part, bro. Oh my god! I think I'm coming down with something, by the way, guys. But this conversation's helping. What is called activity has always been done around the world. Exactly. Yeah, and what's funny too is that if you look at the history of the concept in the United States, there are flares of opposition to it. There's like flares, and then it goes away, and then it comes back, and it goes away. And we always trick ourselves into thinking that we're making this linear progress. It can go away, right? We can go right back to it because if you go back to like the George Washington time, right, they were all doing whatever. And then like somewhere in the 1800s ish, there's this Protestant revival. And then all of a sudden they start hunting people and making an issue out of it. And then they stop caring. And then it comes back again in, I want to say the 30s, the 1930s and that kind of thing. But like throughout human history, every single place in the world, it's just part of being a mammal. It's just normal, Sex is too complicated to try to quantify. I think that's the issue that we're having. So we're trying to quantify something that is that we don't have the language to quantify, right? That kind of thing. And so, yeah, reaction to Christianity, exactly. So it flares up and it goes away, and it flares up and it goes away. But it's never been this like in the past we were against it, and then now we're becoming cool. I would argue, right, in some respects, we are more homophobic right now in this era than we are in the 1980s, right? Why? Because look at someone like Kevin Samuels. And a lot of people try to discredit him by saying, oh, he acts like he's gay, he's secretly gay, da 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 da. So in this environment where we're trying to figure out, is this guy actually gay? You go back and look at Prince and Michael Jackson and like every famous man in the 80s, we wouldn't have let them live, right? We want to act like we're like, oh, so open-minded, but we wouldn't have let those people live whatsoever, right? But the thing, it takes dips and it goes in and out and in and out, and that kind of thing, just because of different currents that happen in the culture and so forth. So to say, okay, the ancestors, how did they feel about it? When in our own culture, within my own lifetime, this thing has been accepted, rejected, accepted, rejected, accepted, rejected as a somewhat of a whole. Now we're talking about a 5,000 plus year old culture. What did they feel about XYZ, especially when they didn't come out and like, it's not primary information. Hey, my name is Nduishi. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, so America is very bizarre, very strange place, you know. Second Great Awakening. Yes, Emmy, Emmy. Thank you very much. I'm from here, and these motherfuckers are weird. I just can't. Like, okay, like, and real aggressive about the weirdness too, right? Real aggressive about the weirdness too, right? And it's funny too because of all the people that talk about Odinala or Odinani, I'm probably one of the only ones that's like almost comfortable talking about these topics within my discussion. And I know why other people are hesitant. And it's not because they have a problem with it. They don't want that all that chaos happening in US society to seep over here, right? And it's not that, oh, well, like, it's not like they're like against, you know, people being gay, trans, all these different things. It's just how it's being contextualized in America is very toxic at the current moment, because everything in America is versus. And again, I love this country. I have no problem with America. I love this place, right? But everything in America is this versus, right? Everything has an opposite. Dog is the opposite of cat. Red is the opposite of blue. Man is the opposite of women. And when they're opposites, they're supposed to fight, right? That's what they do. You know, Democrats, Republicans, this. If it doesn't have this, Americans don't, they don't care. It doesn't matter, right? So something as simple as like sneaking off and giving a guy head is, I mean, not like, you know, I'm gonna just use these. I'm just gonna be frank, because if you guys want to talk about it, fine. You know, all of a sudden there's this like, it's like this battle, like there's this like fight thing going on with it, right? It's like I take my side, you take your side, and it's us against the world and that kind of thing, you know. And people don't want that seeping over into their conversations, because every American culture is also very contagious. So anything stupid happening in America, the rest of the world will pick it up very quickly, right? And then the Americans are like, oh, that's stupid, and then they don't get the other ones don't get the memo, and they keep doing the stupid thing, right? A lot of countries have been destroyed by random ideas Americans have had. Conflict and drama, yeah, conflict and drama. That's it. There's no conversation without conflict and drama, you know, that kind of thing. So you take something like what, how people choose to, I don't know, get their rocks off, and all of a sudden it's like they got like you know, the shit looks like the War of 1812. Question: are people with multiple sex partners at increased risk of sexually transmitted disease? I think statistically, I would say so. Linear progress is one of the biggest myths in the human psyche. Yes, thank you very much. Human events, changes, and progress are circular and wave-like. 100%. And if you look at any issue that we think we are forward in, you'll see that throughout history, there are dips and peaks and dips and peaks and that kind of thing. And that's one of the reasons, like now we're talking, somebody had brought up the the anti-trans bills, right? Yeah, that kind of thing. You know, it just does that. It does that. And perhaps that's why there's that combat culture about it, you know, especially in this culture, in this particular American culture, you know. Maybe that's why there's this combat culture about it. I think I'm getting sick. There's this combat culture about it, because, you know, you have to be vigilant. Like somebody might take these things away from you, you know. So I understand that, but a lot of people who don't have that dynamic don't want that style of conversation in their thing, you know. There are people who major in trendy sexual topics in college. That may be the force behind the constant interest. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know any. Got me weak. In Japan, they give you business cards, much more civil. Wait, creative force. They give you business cards in what context? That'd be interesting. Japan always finds a clever way to do things. Creative force. He said they give you business cards like about their sexual proclivities or what? That sounds very smart, you know. And then done right haggis, that kind of thing. Nothing drama. Interesting topic, Derek. I've always been taught that sexual perversion was a Western thing, was forced on Africans during slavery, and now the media, the black man is the face of. What do you classify as perversion, Miss Empress? Um, I don't know. I think we over prescribe the nefariousness, or like, let's say this, all of the nefarious things that Europeans have done in history, none of them are a secret, right? And they're all loud and wide open, and millions of people died as a consequence. So I don't know if they like were like trying to make people perverted, you know. But perversion implies that there's a sexual norm and everything outside of it is perverse, right? That's literally, I believe what the word means. Um, and then every now and then we find out, hey, there is no sexual norm. Then we go back, okay, now there's a sexual norm. It's just oscillation of human thinking. You know, Americans have a love-hate relationship with sex. Yes, they do. If you avoid sex, you're labeled a prude. It's not, yes, that's true. Geez, they're both ways, I guess. Not the rocks. Hold on, wait, what? uh, there's a truth to that, but it's always both ways. It was there and it was forced. Okay, okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, that's Ross. You kind of said what I was saying, or you said it in a more concise way. I do actually seriously recommend people go look at YouTube channel Twin Rabbits, indigenous people, because it would put a lot of this in context. Okay, I can check that out. I